You wake up and everything feels right. The streets are alive. Horse carriages rattle over sown roads. Newspapers shout headlines about progress, inventions, and empire.
We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets.
Remember the
We shall fight in the hills.
of the onslaught.
We shall never surrender.
You hear laughter spilling from cafes in Paris, orchestras echoing through Vienna, businessmen arguing in Berlin about industry and profit. It feels like the world is moving forward, faster than ever, and you are part of it. You believe this is the height of civilization. Technology is advancing. Empires are stable. Diplomacy exists to prevent disaster. But then, you start noticing things. The headlines shift, sadly. Words like tension, competition, mobilization. You hear about distant crises, Morocco, the Balkans, but they feel far away, unimportant, temporary. Still, something lingers. You feel it before you understand it. Conversations are sharper, pride is louder, fear is hidden, but present. Nations begin to act like rivals instead of neighbors, and behind every celebration of progress, there is preparation. You don't know it yet, but this ends in war. Stop, look around you. Everything feels normal. That's the lie. The trains are faster, yes, but they are built to move armies. The factories are booming, but they are producing weapons. The newspapers talk about peace, but every nation is preparing for war. You don't hear the danger because it isn't loud yet. It is quiet, patient, growing, and by the time it becomes obvious, it will be too late to stop it. You keep walking through this world, unaware that every step forward is taking you closer to something irreversible. This war wasn't a mistake. This was a build-up. And now, you are standing inside it. The question isn't if it will happen, it's when. Across Europe, alliances have already been signed in ink that feels permanent but acts like a fuse. Germany stands beside Austro-Hungary. France is tied to Russia. Britain watches, cautious but involved, guarding its empire and its navy. These agreements are meant to preserve balance, but instead, they quietly guarantee that any conflict will spread. In 1905 and again in 1911, crises in Morocco bring Germany and France dangerously close to war, testing loyalties and exposing how fragile peace really is. In the Balkans, wars in 1912 and 1913 redraw borders, leaving resentment behind the tensions unresolved. Serbia grows stronger, Austro-Hungary grows more anxious. At the same time, military plans are no longer ideas, they are scheduled. Germany's war strategy depends on precise railway timetables. Russia begins modernizing its massive army. France prepares for rapid mobilization. These plans are so rigid that once they begin, they cannot easily stop. And so, beneath the surface of progress, diplomacy and confidence, a system has formed, not designed for peace, but ready for war. You feel proud of your country, that's normal, everyone does. In France, people still whisper about Alsace-Lorraine, lost to Germany decades ago, but never forgotten. In Germany, pride is growing fast, a new empire, powerful and ambitious. In Britain, there is confidence, no, certainty, that they rule the seas and the world. But here is the problem. Pride doesn't stay harmless, it grows. In the Balkans, nationalism isn't just identity, it's rebellion. Serbia dreams of uniting all Slavic people into one nation, but those Slavs live inside Austro-Hungary, an empire filled with different ethnic groups barely held together. You begin to hear anger. Young men gather in secret. They talk about freedom, about sacrifice, about violence if necessary. Groups like the Black Hand begin to form, small, hidden, and dangerous. Austro-Hungary sees this and feels threatened, because if nationalism spreads, their empire collapses. You walk through a crowded street in Sarajevo. It looks normal. Markets, voices, movement. But listen closely. People aren't just talking about their lives. They are talking about identity, about belonging, about breaking free. And suddenly you realize this isn't pride anymore. This is rage waiting for a reason. You don't see soldiers yet. You don't hear gunfire. But it's coming. Because once people believe their nation matters more than peace, conflict becomes inevitable. Nationalism turns neighbors into enemies. It makes compromise feel like betrayal. It transforms pride into something deadly. And now, in one unstable region, the fire is already burning. All it needs is air. Across the Balkans, this tension has already erupted before. In 1908, Austro-Hungary annexes Bosnia and Herzegovina, territories filled with Slavic populations who identify more with Serbia than with the empire that now controls them. The move shocks Europe and enrages Serbia, which sees itself as the protector of Slavic people. Russia, sharing Slavic roots and political interests, supports Serbia, but at the time it is too weak to act decisively. The humiliation lingers. Then come the Balkan Wars of 1912 and 1913. Small nations, Serbia, Bulgaria, Greece, Montenegro, fight to push the Ottoman Empire out of Europe. At first, they succeed, but then they turn on each other, fighting over land, power, and identity. Serbia emerges stronger, larger, more confident, and that terrifies Austro-Hungary even more, because now Serbia is no longer just an idea. It is a growing force, one that inspires Slavs inside the empire to imagine breaking away. Nationalism is no longer contained, it is spreading, quietly, dangerously, and Austro-Hungary begins to realize something chilling. If they don't stop it, they won't survive it. You notice the soldiers more now. They are everywhere, marching in formation, training in open fields, standing in perfect lines during parades that feel less like celebration and more like demonstration. Governments say it's about security, but you start to question that. Germany is expanding its army at an incredible pace. Their military is disciplined, efficient, and ready. Their generals don't just prepare, they plan. The Schlieffen plan is designed with precision. Defeat France quickly, then turn to Russia. France reacts by strengthening its own forces. Russia begins massive recruitment, and Britain builds ships. Not just ships, dreadnoughts. Massive warships designed to dominate the seas. Germany responds by building their own. Now it's a race, faster, bigger, stronger. No one wants to fall behind. You read about another ship launched, another army expanded, another military budget increased. At first, it makes you feel safe, your country is strong, but then you notice something terrifying. Every country is doing the same thing. Everyone is preparing, not for defense, for something bigger, something inevitable. You don't build this much power unless you expect to use it. And deep down, they do. Military leaders gain influence over governments. Plans are detailed down to the minute. Rail schedules, troop movements, attack roads. And here is the danger. Once mobilization begins, it cannot be easily stopped. War is no longer a possibility. It's a system, waiting to activate. And the machine is almost ready. At first, alliances feel reassuring. You are not alone. If someone attacks your country, others will defend you. That's the promise. That's the logic. Germany stands with Austro-Hungary and Italy, the Triple Alliance. France aligns with Russia. Britain joins them later. The Triple Entente, two sides, balanced power. Peace through strength. But something about it feels wrong, because alliances don't just protect, they bind. Now every conflict carries consequences. Austro-Hungary versus Serbia, Russia steps in. Russia mobilizes, Germany responds. Germany attacks France, Britain enters. A single spark can ignite everything. You hear politicians speak confidently about alliances. They call them protection, stability. But you start to see the truth. These aren't shields, they are chains. If one country moves, the others are dragged with it. There is no stepping back, no staying neutral. You are connected to decisions you didn't make, and wars you didn't start. And when the first domino falls, all of them will. Leaders feel pressure to act strong. Backing down means weakness. Ignoring allies means betrayal. So they commit, even when commitment leads to disaster. Alliances were meant to prevent wars. Instead, they guarantee it spreads. And now, Europe isn't divided into countries, it's divided into sides. waiting.